Hello everyone and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan. Thank you for coming to the channel and helping me grow the channel. I just surpassed 1,000 subs, and as the old saying goes, I owe it all to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In any event, we're in front of my 32-gallon long, heavily planted aquarium. And while I could talk about the livestock forever and a day, I actually want to discuss something else. A bit of a, I don't want to say a rarity, but somewhat uncommon is the fact that my Anubis, which is a very common variety, is flowering. So you see the white flower coming up from the plant, completely submerged, and a beautiful sort of otherworldly like bloom will take place. And I've got two of these events going on at the same time. I'll find the other one. Voila, and that one even more floral, right? Quite beautiful. In some respects it reminds me a bit of an orchid or a daylily. I said this was somewhat uncommon. I mean, honestly, it happens all the time, but in my fish room, this is the first time in a year that I've had this event with Anubis, and so for me, it's a splendid occurrence, and I wanted to share that with you. A lot of aquarium plants will create flowers. The certain stem plants in the Bacopa family comes to mind. When the plant gets out of the water, it'll start to flower. And in some of these plants, if you let them go to flower, I know, like for instance in a hygrophila, certain of those species, if you let them go to flower, the bottom part in your aquarium deteriorates. And so like a lily, you're supposed to cut before it reaches the surface. If you mind having a deteriorating aquatic plant at the expense of something lovely going on up top, I mean, it truly is your call in conjunction with Mother Nature's. And since we are playing God a little bit with these boxes of water, it is a choice we can make. However, with submerged plants, the epiphytes, Bucephalandra and Anubis come to mind, obviously, because I have it here, 2 flowers in August. But also Bucephalandra, I've had that happen in other aquariums, the little white flowered. It's a smaller plant, obviously, in general, to Anubis in general. And the flower is too, but it's totally cool to see that happen. Unlike a plant maybe sending out multiple extensions of itself, that doesn't always indicate great health. For instance, in Java fern, I've read that when the plantlets start to form on the stems, it's actually a sign that the plant is under stress and is trying to create new life to augment that stress, deal with it that way. But with these plants, the flowering activity can only be viewed in a positive way. I think it's outstanding. I remember the first time I saw this happen in one of my tanks, I just thought it was the cat's pajamas. I was so excited. I felt so accomplished, like I was doing something right, you know, the lighting, the water, the substrate, the nutrition. You know, I've come to realize that it's a bit of a, it's all those things, but you know, you're gonna do all those things anyway, and sometimes the plant will never flower and sometimes it will. I don't know enough about the science to determine how these flowers play a role in Anubis's reproductive path. I know that as an epiphyte with a rhizome, they grow by just extending the rhizome and adding new leaves to that, and that you propagate by cutting the rhizome and wedging it in the rockwork or gluing it to the driftwood. So I don't know how the flowers play a role in that. Obviously, unlike flowers outside where bees and butterflies can pollinate them, fish don't do that. I've always been meaning to ask the internet, are there any fish that help pollinate plants, you know, the way animals and insects do, you know, through their feces, you know, crapping out seeds, or pollinating like a butterfly going from flower to flower. I don't think fish, any fish, fresh or saltwater, have that behavior. I'm not sure nature has wired her kingdom to display that particular activity. It would be cool though, right? Don't you think? Like these beautiful colored fish, if they went from flower to flower and spread the plant that way. In a way, they're like water butterflies, especially some of these deep red ones, like a monarch, right? But I'm being silly. It doesn't happen that way. It just occurs when all the ducks are in a row, so to speak. No ducks in this tank, but so to speak. And then you get blessed by seeing this beautiful activity occurring in your water garden. Because honestly, with planted tanks, I do consider it like water gardening, and I do consider plants to freshwater aquariums the way I considered corals to my mixed reef aquarium, a key integral part, not an afterthought. And as we mature in the hobby, in some respects, for a group of us, aquascapers, and just some folks actually begin to prefer the plants and create their ecosystems entirely around them, and the fish are merely ornaments on the tree, which is a great metaphor. But I love these two flowers on the Anubis, and I hope you do too. All right, friends, always keep your hands in the tank. Ciao for now.